Disney's first and only black princess is being downgraded. No, they don't know that, but that's what indeed they are doing. Princess Tiana at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, and also over at Disneyland, changing outfits for this new ride that nobody wants. Splash Mountain has been evicted, Brer Rabbit gone, and in its place a Tiana who does not have a gown, who does not have a dress, and, well, her new outfit, it's just a mess. All right, folks, welcome back to another fantastic video of excellence here on the WDW Pro channel, where each and every day we endeavor to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. In doing so, we hope that you can tell your friends, I knew that was going to happen, I saw that coming. And folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. And when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell. Joining us to chat about what Disney is doing to their one and only black princess, well, we have the one and only Lorena Creole joining us today. Welcome back to the channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me back. I love being here.
Well, we try to be a source of positivity despite the fact that we have to report on negative news, and today is no different. Folks, you might think this is a bit of a frivolous subject to be talking about on July 4th when we should be having barbecues and fireworks, etc. And we hope that you're taking just a brief break from those festivities to watch this video, but it is important because what's happening across the Walt Disney Company and across entertainment at large is that they do not understand that which they are destroying. And to find out more about that, Lorena, let's go to this tweet out of Scott Gusting over on Twitter. It says, new. Disney has shared a first look at Tiana's new costume, which matches Tiana's look that will be featured in the upcoming Tiana's Bayou Adventure attraction opening at Walt Disney World and Disneyland Park in 2024. The costume was revealed at Essence Fest in New Orleans. Here are images of this costume that Tiana will now be wearing in the parks. And, well, this is something special. Lorena, give me your thoughts on this costume. How have they done in terms of this compared to the original concept art we got for the character, which already people were a little bit concerned when they saw the concept and said, wait a minute, what version of this? What version is this that we're getting of Tiana versus what I thought?
This in no way lines up with the original movie. If they would have gone with one of her work dresses that she had worn when she was working in the restaurant, that would have worked seamlessly. What we're looking at here, instead of like a beautiful gown like she had when she married Prince Naveen, or the dresses when she was notoriously working so hard in her restaurant, you've got something reminiscent of Dr. Livingston out searching, for things. None of this screams the Bayou. This screams a northern progressive woman in the 1920s. It does not reflect what a Southern woman, especially a Southern Black woman, will be wearing in the 1920s, considering how conservative fashion was for women during that day, number one, and how even more conservative fashion was for women in the South, and especially for Black women.
Lorena, this looks like she's going adventuring in the Yukon. It looks like she's heading to Lake Michigan. This is not the kind of attire you wear out on the bayou. This would never work. This is ridiculous looking. Does this really demonstrate that the people behind this concept, behind this art, they do not understand New Orleans, they do not understand Louisiana?
No.
And this is a completely incongruent, discoherent theme that they are trying to mesh together of ideas that simply are not based in any sort of reality, even if it is in a fantasy that we know of.
Yes. And if anything, it reflects that they really did not do their homework in New Orleans, and they did not spend enough time in New Orleans. Most of the time out of the year, New Orleans is extremely, extremely hot. I can't even emphasize when I say the word hot. 100 degrees, 105 with the heat index. You have a bad problem with mosquitoes in the summer. If you are out, you usually have a hat. Like my great grandmother would tell me, they would have a wide brim hat, wide brimmed to keep the sun off your face, like a ribbon to keep it tied under, under your chin so it wouldn't slide off. You had parasols. They still wore long dresses. They wore shirts or tops that were very loose with the material to let, air circulate, but to also cover their arms because, again, you have the problem with mosquitoes and all that going on. With this hat right here, the amount of heat that would get trapped from her head, which is what you would do in the North, but you do not do that in the South. And
I'm not even sure she can go outside and do meet and greets in Florida. I think this is suffocating for anybody to try to do meet and greets. I mean, I know that some of the cast members are underneath massive amounts of fur with huge masks on, but those at least give you some ventilation. This outfit here, I mean, she looks like she's going into an Ella Fitzgerald Autumn in New York pastiche. Yes. It looks like she is getting ready to go ice skating at Rockefeller. This does not work for July in Orlando.
No, absolutely not. They would have to have her inside, or the amount of time that she would have outside would be extremely limited.
Lorena, this is one of the problems that the Walt Disney Company and other media organizations have come across. They are attempting to throw away the values of the past. And, so be it if that's what they want to do. But the problem here is that they don't know how to moor them to reality. They want to retrospect what was history. But in doing so, we are receiving a major downgrade for this character. I want to now go to what Princess Tiana has looked like at the parks. Look at this incredible costume. This out of DisneyDining.com. That amazing costume. If we scroll down, we'll find an even better representation of that. We go from this, and there's no telling how much that costume costs. We go from this to what we've just been looking at, which is, well, very cartoon-esque and very out of place. What kind of a downgrade is this for little girls who want to see Tiana and go from this princess version to whatever it is that Disney has decided looks like a career woman of the 1920s running a Tabasco plant on an island where actual slavery took place? I can't even believe I'm saying those sentences, but that's where Disney has put us. What kind of a downgrade is this for the little children who go to see Tiana and get that other version instead?
This is an extreme downgrade. The little girls, and yes, I'm being sexist when I say this, little girls want beautiful, beautiful dresses. And Tiana's dress is just absolutely beautiful with like the flowers and looks like a flower petal on top and with the crown and everything, right up there with the beautiful classic dresses of the Disney princesses. As beautiful as Snow White's, as Belle's, iconic as Belle's dress. Little girls love going and getting these dresses, and it all fits in perfectly. I can't see selling the outfit or the progressive outfit, and I keep saying progressive because that's exactly what it is, that kind of outfit instead of this. And if I was a little girl and I'm looking at these costumes, like you have these beautiful princess dresses, and then you have this, I really can't see little girls flocking to get.
I'm worried they're going to ask, who's that? That's what
they will definitely ask who's that. That's what kids will do. They're just like, whose outfit is that? That's not Tiana's. That's not Tiana's outfit. I don't know who that is. She doesn't wear that in the movie. She wears that beautiful green dress, or she wears the yellow dress when she's, working and making beignets and doing all of that stuff. We don't know who that is. And the Walt Disney Company is making this repeated mistake of thinking in a way that kids are stupid, that they're not going to pay attention to what the characters look like. And when you make a major change, that they'll just go along with it. Children are very, they're stubborn and they're kind of fickle that way.
One of the other issues I see here is that Disney seems determined to push this engineered idea upon us. And in doing so, they're doing this to their one black princess. You don't see Cinderella out there in jeans showing everybody that she's a liberated woman. You don't see Snow White out there dressed in a pantsuit with a briefcase because she's given up the dwarves. Now she's a businesswoman. No, it's just Tiana. Tiana's the only princess being downgraded this way. This comes on the heels as well as the situation in the parks where we had the Little Mermaid, the original version, looking all beautiful just as she should. And then they brought in the live action version, which has been marketed all around the idea that she is of a different ethnic background. And she is given a very lackluster dress with a horrid looking hairpiece, a wig to go on top without the headband that makes it look better in the movies. And that's a downgrade that I don't understand why Disney is doing this. I don't understand. Surely it's not consciously done. But at the same time, come on, Disney. Do this to the other princesses. Do this to your other characters. Give it a rest on the characters that the little girls can look up to and say, oh, mommy, I know who that is. That's Tiana. Give it a rest on these characters. Do it to Cinderella. Do it to Snow White. Do it to Rapunzel, for crying out loud. Why is it just one type of princess that receives this kind of a downgrade?
You know, that's a very interesting question. And the way that I see it is that Disney feels that it's enough just to have the ethnicity.
That is a great point, and that's why it's repugnant to me. I dislike it immensely. But I can't say it any better, Lorena. That is absolutely perfectly said. Now, I assume that we will still be able to see Tiana in her dress. However, I'm thinking about where she'll be visible, because Disney has a protocol where they do not like to have the same character visible from one location. In other words, they don't want to have Main Street Mickey be visible and then Frontierland Mickey also be visible from one vantage point. That blows the imagination out of the water, right? It really confuses kids, and it's a poor show. So here's the problem at the Magic Kingdom, at least. Where she has been appearing will be near what was Splash Mountain, now is Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So I don't know where they're going to have this new costumed version versus the dress Tiana, the Tiana in the gown. I don't know how they're going to make this work, but the highly preferable version should be the one that stays, and that's Tiana in her princess gown, simply because that's what girls know. That's what they want to. That's what they want to see. That is the Tiana they want to meet with. They don't care about businesswoman Tabasco plantation woman Tiana.
But that's the Tiana that shows up in the Festival of Fantasy Parade.
Yes. And Lorena, what do you make of this idea too, that the attraction itself, we don't get the music from the movie, the beloved music. Instead, they've come up with an entirely new soundtrack. Why are they trying to change this character so much? Why can't we just have a run through of the movie, of the beautiful things that people loved about it?
I think it's because you have, again, a group of people who want to be offended on behalf of people who never asked, that somehow that soundtrack is problematic. I don't get it. That soundtrack was gorgeous. It was wonderful. It's a beautiful score. You have a connection to the original. Like after, you go through the attraction, it's like I can go and I can watch Princess and the Frog and relive all the movies, relive the movie through the soundtrack. And now there's this disconnect where you want to create this new version to somehow slap a Band-Aid on the fact that this retheme is not so good. You change the character. So it's like, okay, so since we're changing the character, now we're going to have to change the ride. Okay, now we change the ride. Now we're going to change the music. And there's going to be a serious lack of cohesion. Again, you're going to have people who've seen the movie, like what this music is, it's good. I love Terrence Blanchard's music, but I want the music from the movie, not something that I have there isn't a connection to. And that's a big mistake on Disney part, not having that connection to the original source.
They could have had a ride where when you go down into the caves, where once it was the laughing place, now I think it should remain the laughing place, but they could have had a ride where you go down there in the dark and suddenly all the little fireflies begin to light up all around you and Ray begins to sing his song. Yes. They have made the decision. They have made the decision to put this movie after that film, which, spoiler alert, folks, means that you will get no Ray. The best you can hope for is a little twinkle on the on the Tiara that now
Yeah.
sits atop the water tower, which is, trust me, a very strange sight to see next to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad because it does not fit in at all. It is as strange as seeing Tiana dressed as if she is going adventuring in Saskatchewan versus the Bayou. Lorena, last thing I want to discuss before we go today, there have been rumors about Frontierland. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's been some articles out there saying that there's a nuclear option where Disney parks would plan to expand the Magic Kingdom by filling in the waters around Frontierland, taking away Tom Sawyer Island and filling all that area in with an expansion. Lorena, I don't know what you've heard about that, but my take on it is I can't say for sure what Disney will do in the future. I would be hesitant to say that they won't do it because, somebody can make a decision that will happen. But right now, I don't think it's likely. And I think that if they were to do something like that, that would be about as dumb a decision as I think you could possibly come up with. There are far, far easier ways to expand Magic Kingdom. There's a huge plot of land southwest of Adventureland, past the Pirates of the Caribbean show building. There is vast land above, talking about north of Fantasyland between the Pyro launch site. And there's just plenty of land. If they were to do even more damage to Frontierland, I would be stunned, although perhaps at this point, not surprised. So, Lorena, what have you heard about that? Anything at all?
I hadn't heard really anything about that. I know in the back of my head, because you have the rivers of America around where Tom Sawyer Island is, already the Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn are already quote unquote problematic. So I really don't want that to change. The landscaping is perfect to be able to take, the riverboat around. I would say that's an iconic thing about the Disney parks. They have the same thing that's in Disneyland. That would be a huge mistake to go and retheme that. And part of my hesitation definitely is the way that the Fantasyland expansion went. That wasn't so hot. And I don't even go in the Fantasyland expansion part that much at all. It seems like such much of a disconnect between the original Fantasyland. So I hope that they do not change that. I agree with you, Pro. There are better ways to go and expand that. I would not like a repeat of what happened with the Stargate and the 4 Death Tacos over at Epcot, because that just totally destroyed the sightlines.
Yes, but we are getting a change to Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain, of course, now we know is essentially the most popular attraction on the planet, and it is now only available in Tokyo, where at least the Oriental Land Company cares enough about the history of that attraction and its roots in authentic African folklore that they are willing to keep it and preserve it for generations to come. So would Disney be so dumb to do what we are discussing? Sure they would. But hopefully, budgets will constrain them yet again. Well, Lorena, tell folks where they can find you on this great, big, beautiful web out there.
Well, folks, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, and of course, you can find me on YouTube for various live streams and videos for pop culture, sci-fi analysis, and of course, theme park walkthroughs.
Fantastic. And folks, we hope you are having a wonderful 4th of July celebration if you are in America. If you are not, we hope you're still having a fantastic day and celebrating everything there is to celebrate about your various lands, your communities. Folks, make your communities, make your homes, make your relationships better and wonderful. It's a great thing to do, and it is worthwhile. It's something that is worth giving your time and attention to. Another thing worth your time and attention, if you'd like to check out the live stream we did last night at the time of release of this video, July 3rd at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we hosted a celebration of all nations, but mostly America. It's kind of a funny thing, but we celebrated the milestones of those channels who are our friends here on YouTube, and we talked about Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny. Go check it out. It's on the channel if you'd like to watch it. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun, and have some fireworks somewhere, somehow, some way.
Make sure to catch The Pro Show Thursdays 5 to 7 Eastern Time. Entertainment Explained, The Culture Curve Conquered, live with Pro and all his friends.